Good afternoon and welcome to our YouTube live event. Today, hosted by the Office of Community Health and Planning with the Community Engagement Team and Community Health Action Team. Welcome, happy Friday. Thank you all so much for joining the Consortium's Kitchen and tuning in today to our Eat Fresh series. This is episode 8, Plan, Fix It Fast, Eat at Home. Before we begin, I'd first like to introduce myself. I'm Candace Schottenlohr, a health educator with the Community Engagement Team, and I'll now turn it over to Melissa, who I have here helping me today.
Thank you, Candace. And as you mentioned, my name is Melissa Mayton, and I'm a health educator with the Community Health Action Team. As mentioned in previous episodes, our Eat Fresh series will focus on lessons outlined in the Faithful Families Thriving Communities curriculum. And if you're a faith-based organization or if you work with faith-based organizations, we do invite you to partner with us through this free program. It's a 9-lesson curriculum which provides individuals, families, and the community with the skills to be able to eat more meals at home, move more in their everyday routine, and help their communities lead healthier lives. You can find more details about the program and the contact information in the chat.
So today we're going to be talking about how to make simple, healthy meals at home. Making meals at home can be fast, also save you time, and almost always save you money. It's also an easier way to eat healthier and maintain a healthy weight. In fact, eating more meals at home is a great way for a healthy weight strategy and can also be a great time for your family to be together. And most of you have already seen our lessons on how to plan meals, shopping at the grocery store, and today we're going to be talking about what you do once you have done all your planning and shop for your groceries. And we'll focus on making simple meals.
So today we're also hosting 2 short cooking demonstrations highlighting 2 healthy meals that you can make quickly at home. These include a chicken salad and peach sandwich and Oprah's out-of-sight salad. We will be monitoring the chat so that we can answer any questions that you may have today. So please remember to drop anything in that chat, any questions or comments that you have with us.
Definitely. So let's begin today with some tips for you to be able to make meals fast so you can serve simple, healthy meals for your family. The first tip is to stick to your plan. If you've taken the time to plan your meals for the week so you don't have to take time to think about what to make, you already know. It's good to have some basic kitchen equipment on hand to make meal preparation easier, and many of them can be found at different dollar and discount stores.
And after shopping for your groceries, you want to take some time to prepare for the coming week. So as you unpack the food, go ahead and wash fruits and vegetables so that they are ready to go. And that way, making a salad or grabbing a piece of fruit as a snack is simple. You want to cut up vegetables such as carrots and celery so that they're ready to grab and eat. And for example, you can wash your lettuce and put it in a Ziploc bag, meaning that all you have to do is grab the bag and you can make a salad later that week. It's also a great way to keep it fresh longer. So if you have purchased meat, fish, or poultry that you're not going to use right away, you can repackage and freeze it in portions that you can use later in a meal, or 2 if you're making a double batch.
And on weekends, you may have a little more extra time and could go ahead and make 2 batches of a recipe. So you can make a pan of lasagna, a large pot of spaghetti, or even bake enough chicken for 2 meals. Refrigerate or freeze what you need for a meal later in the week. And for example, if you bake chicken, you can bake twice as much and refrigerate or freeze any extras for another day. And then all you have to do is heat the leftovers and make a quick side dish that's fast and easy.
Right. And any meat can be cooked in advance and reheat later in the week. You want to cut that meat into smaller pieces so that it will cool quickly. You can wrap the cooked meat tightly in plastic wrap and place it in the refrigerator or freezer. And another idea is to make a pot roast or bake a chicken and make 2 to 3 different meals out of that one cut of meat. So for example, one night you can have pot roast, then another night you have beef noodle casserole or roast beef sandwiches with the leftover meat.
Thank you, Melissa, for sharing those great ideas. They sound delicious. Now let's begin with our first recipe for today. So first and foremost, we've already washed our hands and we'll be wearing gloves throughout this episode. And we've also already washed the ingredients you see we'll be using today for our recipes. Proper hand washing techniques are extremely important when getting ready to prepare a meal or even when you're going to eat a meal. And you want to make sure you're washing your hands with soap and cleaning running water for at least 20 seconds. And this technique also helps prevent the spread of any germs.
It's also important to follow food safety steps that can help keep your family stay safe from food poisoning at home. And these 4 simple steps are to clean, separate, cook, and chill. So first, you want to make sure that everything is clean, from washing your hands and utensils to cleaning kitchen surfaces often. Second, when you're in the kitchen, you want to make sure that you do not cross-contaminate and you're using separate cutting boards and plates for produce, meat, poultry, seafood, and eggs. And next, you want to ensure that all the food is cooked to the right temperature. Finally, you want to make sure that you refrigerate or freeze food properly, and you want to refrigerate all perishable foods within 2 hours.
So today's first recipe is from choosemyplate.gov, and we're going to be making a chicken salad and peach sandwich. And this chicken salad sandwich has crisp celery, apples, and red onion, rounded out by sweet peaches and soft whole grain bread. This also makes a great recipe for a picnic or a packed lunch. So the ingredients we'll be using today, as you could see starting from here, we have the 4 slices of the whole grain bread. We have about a half a cup of cooked chicken that's already been diced. We have a half a cup of the peach slices that have been drained and diced, chopped celery, as well as a half a cup of apples, and today we'll be using gala apples. We also have 1 small red onion chopped, and we also will be using 1.5 tablespoons of non-fat mayonnaise, as well as 1 tablespoon of the chopped walnuts.
Thank you, Candace, for listing out all of those for us. And as you can see, we're using simple ingredients that you can prepare ahead of time and make a quick meal using the tips we mentioned before. So once you have laid out all the ingredients, this recipe really consists of 2 steps. And first, we're going to mix all of our ingredients, okay? So we're going to go ahead and take the chicken. And again, this has been diced. Then we're going to take our peaches. We did buy these in water. You can use fresh. Consider not buying them in syrup because those are very high in sugar. Our celery. The apples. And you can use any kind of apples that you like. We're using gala apples today, but you can use whatever type you like. Our onions. The walnuts, and you can leave the walnuts out or you can use a different type of nut if you prefer. And finally, the mayo. If you don't prefer mayo, you can also use non-fat Greek yogurt. So now that we have all our ingredients in here, we're going to go ahead and mix them together. That's our second step.
Looks good.
It smells really fresh, and the peaches I know are going to add a really good taste to them.
Definitely. And as Melissa mentioned, you can definitely, really choose whichever apple or different onions that you prefer to use for this recipe.
So now that we have mixed our ingredients well, we're going to go ahead and prep our sandwiches. So I'll take our bread, and I'm just going to go ahead and spoon the mixture onto 2 of the slices of bread.
Sounds good.
And this, I think, makes a great lunch idea too. And we'll cut it. Okay. I'll move this just to make sure you can see what our sandwich looks like.
Looks delicious. Looks good, nice and fresh. And so to continue with some tips about how to eat smart, half of your plate should be fruits and vegetables. And so this was a really great recipe to include both. And so using canned and frozen fruits and vegetables is a real time saver. You'll also save money too. And they're just as nutritious as fresh. Canned vegetables may have more salt than you need, but you can look for no salt added options or drain and rinse the water off to lower the salt content. And also buying salad in a bag will save you a lot of time. There is no waste and your salad is ready in minutes, and it can be more expensive though, so that is something to consider.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Candace, for those tips. And for this recipe, we did use canned chicken. If you're using meat that you have previously frozen, you can take it out of the freezer and put it in the refrigerator the night before. But please never leave frozen meat, poultry, or fish out on the counter. There are several easy ways too to make quick meals for you and your family, and one way is to use a slow cooker. And many of your favorite recipes can successfully be adapted to the slow cooker. You can have one dish meal of soup, stew, or pot roast ready to eat when you arrive at home at the end of the day. You can also find slow cooker recipes at your local library, or you can search for more recipes online.
Absolutely. Stir frying is another great option that is fast and delicious. You can have a whole meal in just one pan. Stir fry meats first and then adding vegetables to create a meal on the stove in one skillet. You can serve the meat and vegetables over a whole grain pasta or rice. If you shop at a farmer's market, you can choose your stir fry vegetables depending on what's in season. And you can use your imagination to come up with many different combinations.
Absolutely. So now let's get started on our second recipe for today, which is Oprah's Add-a-Side salad. And this dish is overflowing with fresh veggies and fun flavors, and the pineapple will really add an extra tang to it. And the ingredients we will be using to make the salad are 2 cups of greens, and you can use whatever you prefer. We're going to be using spring mix. 1 cup of tomatoes, cucumbers, carrots, and green beans chopped. You can use whatever combination you want, but this is what the recipe calls for. 1 cup of pineapple chunks that have been drained. These have been canned in juice. If you don't like pineapple or you have an allergy, you can use fresh orange segments as well. Another thing that we have for the dressing is we have the yogurt ready to go. We also have our vinegar. I did want to mention that we are using strawberry flavored yogurt, and it is non-fat. We are using 1.5 teaspoons of white vinegar, 1 tablespoon of orange juice, and that's for the dressing. And then for the toppings, we have our cranberries and our walnuts, about 2 tablespoons of each.
Okay, Melissa, thanks so much for sharing the ingredients we'll be using for our salad today. And so I'm going to go ahead and walk us through now. We're going to be putting in the 2 cups of the mixed greens. And as mentioned, we'll be using the spring mix. And so just keeping in mind, when preparing this, that you have washed your lettuce before using it. And so now I'm going to go ahead and add in our chopped vegetable mix, which includes the carrots, the tomatoes, the cucumbers, and the celery, and the green beans. Okay. And now I'm going to go ahead and add in the pineapple. Okay.
Thank you, Candace. So I did want to mention I'm going to help you with the dressing, but for the green beans, for example, you can steam them quickly in your microwave. That's an easy way to save time as well if you liked your green beans steamed. So now we're going to do the dressing. For the dressing, we're going to combine all our ingredients in a bowl. So here I have the yogurt that I mentioned. I'm going to go ahead and add the vinegar.
Hand you the orange juice.
And the orange juice. And it smells really fruity. Okay, and you want to mix that well. There you go.
Okay. Thank you so much, Melissa, for the dressing. Now that it's ready, I'm going to go ahead and add this into the salad. Okay. And then I'm also going to be adding in our toppings. And just to note, you can definitely add in, if you didn't want to use the strawberry yogurt, you could just do like a vanilla or a plain yogurt, whichever you prefer. And then we're going to be adding in the chopped walnuts. Go ahead and add those. And as well as the dried cranberries. Okay. We have that. And now I'm going to go ahead and mix our salad and go ahead and plate it. Let's see.
That smells so good.
We want to make sure we're getting it all mixed in. Looks really good.
And we were able to use the same walnuts from the same package from the previous recipe. So that's another way to save time and also save money if you plan recipes that use similar ingredients.
Definitely.
That looks great.
Okay. Go ahead and serve a little bit so you guys can take a look. Okay, and
Awesome.
Here we have it. Oprah's out of sight salad.
That smells so delicious. So it was so quick to make. Both of these recipes that we did today were quick meals that you can consider using during the week to help you eat healthier at home more often. And another way to save time and have easy to make dinners is to make your own freezer meals. There are 2 approaches you can use. As you are preparing meals for the week, you can make a double batch of your family favorites. You can serve one for dinner and freeze the other dinner later in the month. Another approach is also to plan to make freezer meals ahead. So after shopping, set aside some time to prepare those meals that you want to have, and you can have them ready to eat on busy days. You can pre-cook your meats and your sauces and blanch any vegetables. And you want to use the freezer bags for storage. And be sure to label with the name of the dish. You can even include instructions on there that you may need for final preparation.
Absolutely, and meals made at home don't have to be complicated to really be healthy. A simple sandwich can be a start for a great meal like the one we made today. You can also add a simple salad and a cup of soup, and you have a wonderful meal in minutes. Remember to compare sodium in foods like soup and bread, and you want to choose options that have the lowest number for sodium, and looking for keywords on the label like no salt, low sodium, or very low sodium. And so to eat smart, you want to make sure that you're planning quick meals that help you build a healthy plate, and consider making half of your plate, again, fruits and vegetables. To complete your plate, you also want to make sure you have smart drink choices like choosing water or low fat or skim milk.
Right, and for dessert, you can try fresh fruit or a fruit and yogurt parfait, which is also a great breakfast. Parfaits are easy and tasty and provide that little bit of sweet without adding a lot of calories, fat, and sugar. Not to mention that you can really involve your family as well or your friends if you want to create like a topping bar with it. You want to choose non-fat yogurt and fresh fruit. And fruit is a naturally sweet dessert alone as well. So when we use recipes to make meals at home, there are some techniques that we can use to save time. First, you want to read the recipe all the way through to make sure that you have all the ingredients that you need. Second, decide how long the recipe will take to prepare and cook. This will help you plan when to begin making the recipe and when to make the other parts of the meal. After you've read the recipe, the next step is to gather all of the ingredients and any of the tools, so bowls, spoons, baking dishes, or pans that you may need, and that way everything will be out and at your fingertips.
Absolutely, making sure everything's prepared. So before beginning to work with the food, you want to make sure that you wash your hands with soap and warm water, and preheat the oven or skillet if necessary if you're using that, and measuring out your ingredients using measuring cups and spoons, and being sure to follow your recipe step by step for success. And you can also find ways to get other members of your household involved, like Melissa mentioned.
Absolutely. And eating at home will allow you to eat portions that are appropriate sizes. Often when we eat out, we eat more than we should because the portions are so large. Eating at home can also mean eating more fruits and vegetables because you have control over what is served. Choosing to serve more fruits and vegetables is a great way to start eating healthy. And as you can see, eating smart at home is easy. You can make easy, quick, and healthy meals at home, even if you have few cooking skills. So remember to keep it simple.
Definitely. So let's go ahead and review some of the easy steps to eating smart at home. So first, you want to plan easy meals, have your family select a favorite dinner, or try a new recipe. You also want to make a shopping list. You can include foods needed for your week's menu if you're meal prepping, getting ready to plan for the week, healthy snack choices, and of course, don't forget to add the basics such as low-fat milk, bread, eggs, and peanut butter. You also want to make sure to go to the grocery store and stick to that food list that you have, and try a new fruit or vegetable that's in season, or stock up on canned fruits and frozen vegetables.
Right. So we do want to remind you that today's class was based on lessons outlined in the Faithful Families Thriving Communities curriculum, specifically Lesson 4, Fix It Fast, Eat at Home. If you're a faith-based organization or if you work with faith-based organizations, we invite you to partner with us through this free program, and you can find more information in the chat.
So at this time, we'd like to take a few questions from the audience, and remember you can add them in the chat box. And so the first one that we see, it's a great question about how many servings do the recipes serve? And so for the first one, the chicken salad and peach sandwich, this recipe makes 2 sandwiches, and the Oprah's add-a-side salad makes about 4 servings.
The next question we're getting is, where can I find recipes for quick and healthy meals? So today we're using recipes from choosemyplate.gov, which is always a great resource to find recipes. But of course, you can find recipes online and in cookbooks at your local library, not to mention from friends and family members as well.
Definitely.
So those are all great resources to help you find some of the recipes.
And also, you can go back and check out some of the other previous episodes and get some good recipe ideas.
Absolutely.
And so we have time for one more question today, and we see it's coming in. What are some other helpful tips for planning a quick meal? And so as mentioned, there are some techniques we can use to save time. First, you want to make sure that you're reading the recipe all the way through and making sure that you have all the ingredients that you need to prepare. Then you want to decide how long the recipe will take to prepare and cook. And after reading that recipe, the next step is to really gather all the ingredients and kitchen tools that you'll need. And this way everything will be out and at your fingertips, and you can avoid spending any extra time looking for the items.
Not to mention that when you're planning a meal, it's important to know that you have all the ingredients, because it would be a shame to start a recipe and then halfway through realize that you might be missing some ingredients or a tool that you might need. But thank you so much for sharing those tips again. So we want to thank you for tuning in today. Please visit the Consortium for a Healthier Miami-Dade to learn more. The website is www.healthymiamidade.org. To check out more healthy recipes and for tips on healthy food preparation, please visit MyPlate at www.myplate.gov. All the links are also going to be shared in the chat. So please take care and stay safe, everyone. And thank you for joining us today. Have a great weekend.
Thank you. Have a good weekend.